Hi, this is Marie, and I'm so glad you joined me. Today we're going to be using a background of a sea or an ocean and with some seaweed, and we're going to add some bubbles, only ours will be blue. And we're going to quill a fish. I'm using Arches 140-pound paper, has a lot of tooth, absorbs a lot of water, and I'm using a wide flat brush for an even wash for my background. Even though I say it's even, it's actually more of a graduated with heavier color down on your bottom and kind of going up the side of your left-hand side, because I wanted the bottom of the ocean or sea to be a little darker in color. Now you can see how the color just kind of floats along that base coat of water that I applied. It just will give you a nice blend, a nice background for your ocean. Now we're going to allow that to dry, and once it's perfectly dry, then we're going to apply some ultramarine for a background for the seaweed. I'm using the ultramarine again for the background because this is going to be the seaweed that's set in the back. It's in the distant. And then I change to forest green for the seaweed that's going to be closer to you. It will allow it to appear more dimensional. And just some free-flowing lines. Now I'm going to be doing some bubbles, and I'm just taking some ultramarine on the dry paper and applying almost like a horseshoe or a circle, semicircle. And then I'm taking more water on my brush and I'm blending that down into the circle, reserving some area for my highlight. And then I'm taking some white, putting that on the bottom, and then I'm blending it upward again for the highlight. And I'm going to do that for all of these bubbles that you see. Just an easy blend and giving it dimension. I'm allowing that to dry, and then I'm applying a little bit heavier coat of white just for a highlight on the upper left-hand side. Okay, we're going to allow that to dry, and while that's drying, I'm just going to take little dots of ultramarine just to give the impression of more texture in my ocean, just very, very lightly, but it's going to appear as if there's activity in the background, like other fish or sediment or shells, anything falling, just some texture. Once it dries, I'm going to flick white onto it, and you can see how the little flecks of white gave it more texture and appears as if there's more activity in the background. I love how the wash turned out. It's smooth, it's graduated, and so let's move on to our little simple basic fish. We're going to take 5 inches of paper and then 3 3-inch. You'll see that I actually curled up 4 3-inch, but we're only going to use 3. Now I'm going to just place them on my sizing board. I'm using the 3 for the 5-inch, and I'm using 4, size 4 for the 3-inch. The size 5 is going to be the body, and we're going to just glue that with some, basic glue that dries clear. I like to put a very light coat to seal the ends. Now this is a marquee. If you don't know how to create that, look at one of my earlier quilling videos. I go in slow motion for how to do some of the basic shapes. and this was a triangle, and I kind of shaped it to kind of cup the inner aspect so it fits against the body of the fish. Doing the same thing with my second, making the triangle shape, and then shaping it to the body. And then we're going to take the tail, and again it will be a triangle, only we will kind of make the very center of one of them pushed in almost like a heart shape, and we're turning it around backwards and putting that on for a little tail. So now we're going to just glue all of our little pieces into shape, and I always like to adhere them with pins, but make sure that when you put your pin, your straight pin, into the area, that you don't flatten or go through any of your paper. Make sure that you're putting your pin in one of the slots or holes in the spot in the quilling. Yeah, don't damage your paper. Now we're going to just put the little tail on, turn that backwards to where it has some fins, and adhere that. Then we're going to set this aside, and I guess we need some eyes. So I couldn't decide if I wanted black or white, so I decided upon the black on this one. So we'll pop that in there, and we're going to set that aside now and let it dry. And then we're going to just work on our sentiment. I took some Versamark, and I have a cute image. I think it's by Teresa Momber on Stamp TV, called Quite a Catch. I'm using fine detailed black embossing powder, and hitting it with my heat gun, adhering it to a black layer for proper nesting. And my fish is going to go on there like that. I'm going to allow that fish to dry for a few minutes. Then I'm just going to take some pop dots and adhere it to the very back of my sentiment, and then adhere it to the card. Now this can be a tag. You'll put a hole in the top and a nice little tassel for a tag or a bow. Or you can just put it on a card. It would make a perfect card as well. So it's your choice. Although this is a tag video, I'm not going to actually put the tassel on because I may want to choose to use it for a card. I hope you give it a try. If you have any questions, let me know. If you want any particular technique, be sure to leave a comment and let me know. Thank you so much for watching, and if you liked it, give it a big thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe.